The grippiest trail shoe you can buy doesn't say Vibram anywhere on it. An independent lab that saw shoes in half measured it 33% grippier than category average. Guess wrong on trail shoes and you're either replacing them every season or slipping on wet rock mid-race. 7 shoes the receipts actually back. 4 hidden gems nobody's auditing, including the one brand that publishes data on when its own shoes die. No sponsors, just lab numbers. One rule before we start: this isn't a list where you pick one shoe and ignore the rest. The 7 cover the terrain and foot shapes that actually exist. Skip the ones that don't fit your feet and you're back to guessing. The 4 gems aren't bonus content. They're where the actual value for money picks live. Watch the whole thing or you're leaving money on the table. Either way. Number 7. Altra Lone Peak 9+. The Lone Peak has finished more through hikes than any shoe in this video, and for a decade it did that while carrying a flaw the entire community complained about: the rubber. Altra's in-house MaxTrack compound was the running joke of every long trail forum. Fine on dry dirt, sketchy on wet rock, gone by 400 miles. The 9+ is the apology. Altra finally licensed Vibram Mega Grip, and you can find thread after thread of runners who publicly quit the brand over its rubber coming back specifically for this outsole. One long-term tester logged over 300 miles with the sole still going strong. Owners are calling the Vibram swap the biggest improvement in the line's history. Why number 7 and not higher? You're paying for the fix, about $15 over the standard model, though reviewers note this outsole usually lives on $200 shoes. And the execution isn't clean. One major review outlet was openly disappointed, describing a break-in period they couldn't believe existed on a shoe at this price in 2026. And there's a documented crease in the 4-foot upper. Owners describe it as a full fold, not cosmetic, that digs into some feet. The verdict: if you're zero-drop wide toe box people, and you know who you are, this is the best Lone Peak ever made. Just try it on before you commit, because that fold doesn't care about your loyalty. Number 6. The North Face. Vective Enduris 4. Stay with me. This channel has spent entire episodes on what VF Corporation ownership has done to its brands. The North Face showing up here isn't me going soft. It's the data going somewhere I didn't expect. One of the most rigorous comparative testing outlets in the space, called the Enduris, for possibly the most complete trail shoe they have ever tested. Not great for the price, the most complete. And then they did something almost nobody does. They put it head-to-head against the Speedgoat 7, the default answer in trail running, and gave the win to the North Face on the grounds that the Enduris feels livelier underfoot than Hoka's new foam. An accommodating fit, a comfortable ride, real versatility across terrain at a price under the category's big names. That's a package. The asterisk: its dominance is concentrated at one testing house. It doesn't collect category wins across 5 outlets like the shoes ahead of it. And given the owner, watch future versions. Corporate cost engineering tends to arrive 2 model years after the glowing reviews. Right now, though, the shoe is excellent, and pretending otherwise because of the logo would be its own kind of lie. Number 5. Salomon Genesis. In 2023, Courtney Dauwalter did something no human had ever done. Won Western States, Hard Rock and UTMB, the triple crown of ultra running, in a single season. Same shoe on her feet for all 3, the S/Lab Genesis. The shoe I'm ranking is the civilian version, slightly wider, more protection underfoot, $50 cheaper, and it quietly carries one of the best materials receipts in the sport. The upper is Matrix, a weave reinforced with Kevlar family fibers, the same material on $200 S/Lab shoes, and the Arc'teryx Silan Pro on a $150 shoe. That's an anomaly. And it's been stress tested in public. A gear writer took a nearly unworn pair onto 130 miles of the John Muir Trail under a 40-pound pack and finished with 0 tears and 0 blisters. Lab testing backs the anecdote. This shoe scored 4 out of 5 on both breathability and upper abrasion, a combination that almost never happens because those 2 properties usually fight each other. Now the flaw Salomon refuses to fix: contour grip on wet rock. A runner with 1,600 kilometers on this platform described watching Vibram-shod competitors fly past on wet routes while he tiptoed. Reviewers have said out loud that licensing Vibram would make obvious sense. Salomon won't. In-house rubber is cheaper, and the wet climate runner is the one subsidizing that decision. Dry mountains, buy with total confidence. Pacific Northwest, keep scrolling. Number 4. Adidas Terrex, Agravic. 4. This is the shoe on this list that nobody on YouTube talks about, and the lab data says that silence is a mistake. 2 numbers. In standardized wet traction testing, the Continental rubber outsole scored roughly 13% grippier than the category average. Solid. But the second number is the one that made me sit up. In the abrasion test, a Dremel ground into the outsole under controlled pressure, it lost 0.5 millimeter of rubber. That result is 44% tougher than the average trail shoe. It was the single best durability number in every dataset I pulled for this entire video, top 7 and hidden gems included. Outsole wear is the countdown clock on your $150 purchase. A sole eroding 44% slower is the difference between replacing shoes every season and every other season. The source hides in plain sight. Continental, the tire company whose rubber Adidas has run on road shoes for years. Tire chemistry applied to trails, rounded out with a perfect torsional rigidity score, 5 out of 5, which translates to a shoe that won't fold sideways under you on off-camber terrain, and full protective rubber coverage, and you have arguably the most complete engineering package here. Why isn't it top 3? Because expert consensus still favors the ride quality of the shoes ahead of it, and ride is half the job. But if your buying criteria is cost per mile, this might quietly be the smartest purchase in the video. Quick pause. Every number here comes from lab teardowns and outlets that buy their own shoes. Full source list in the free companion PDF below. If receipts first coverage is what you want, subscribing tells the algorithm to make more of it. That's the pitch. Back to the countdown. Number 3 comes with a sizing warning that'll save some of you $60 in return shipping. Number 3. LA Sportiva Prodigio 2. 2 years ago, La Sportiva launched the original Prodigio, and lab testing caught something the marketing didn't mention. The durability was bad. Documented measurable wear at the toe box, the heel, and the outsole. Bad enough that the lab specifically warned heavier runners away. For a brand built on Italian mountain boot credibility, that should have been embarrassing. The Prodigio 2 is at number 3 because they fixed everything, and the paper trail proves it. Deeper 4mm lugs. A midfoot rock protection insert version 1 lacked. A wider platform. Softer nitrogen-infused foam. The outlet that named it Best Overall Trail Runner uses testers with 5,000 lifetime trail miles, including 2,500 on Continental Divide and Appalachian Trail through hikes. Multiple outlets independently describe the same shoe. Springy, planted, grippy from slick rock to mud, comfortable from mile 1. The warning I promised: La Sportiva sizing is its own country. Nearly every reviewer across every outlet says go up at least half a size from your normal US fit. A known years-long quirk the brand has simply decided not to fix. Half size up, write it down. One shoe kept this off the top spot, and it's the one you knew was coming. Number 2. Hoka Speedgoat 7. The Speedgoat is the most popular shoe at the start line of the world's biggest ultras, and here's what makes the 7 interesting. The previous version nearly killed that reputation. The 6 was, by broad expert consensus, a miss. Firmer foam, a loose upper, a heel collar so badly designed that some owners were literally cutting it down with scissors to make the shoe wearable. That's not a rumor. That's documented in the testing community. The 7 is the correction, and the lab confirms it. After 6 generations of dated foam, Hoka finally moved to a supercritical EVA. And for the first time in years, both shock absorption and energy return measured above the category average. And my favorite obscure receipt. After 20 minutes in a lab freezer, the midsole firmed up only 3%, one of the best cold weather results ever recorded in the category, and a huge improvement over the 6. Winter runners, that number beats any marketing copy. The fixes: the heel collar now sits properly under the lace knot, and the upper no longer stretches loose over time. Testers who abandoned the model are publicly back. What keeps it from number 1? The fit. Lab calipers measured the toe box at just over 71 millimeters, genuinely narrow. If your foot is wide, the standard Speedgoat will feel like a handshake that doesn't let go, and even the brand tacitly admits it by selling a wide version. And the 5mm lugs, good as they are, just got out-gripped. Buy a shoe with no Vibram badge at all. Number 1. Asics Metafuji Trail. In the standardized traction test, same rig, same protocol, every shoe measured identically. The Asics Metafuji Trail put up the highest grip score in this entire video. 33% grippier than the category average, higher than every Vibram Mega Grip shoe on this list. The industry's most trusted rubber badge, beaten by a compound most trail runners have never heard of, from a company they associate with road marathons. And the grip isn't even the whole story. The same lab measured the best shock absorption ever recorded in the category, roughly a quarter more impact protection than average, on a maximal 44mm stack. Numbers like that always come with a weight penalty. This shoe weighs 9.1 ounces. Maximum measured protection, maximum measured grip, featherweight. That combination doesn't exist anywhere else on the market right now. The disqualifier you need to hear before you spend $200+, the toe box is tight. Lab testers flagged it specifically as a problem for ultra distances, where feet swell and recommended wide-footed runners look elsewhere entirely. There's also a terrain caveat. The lugs run shallow at under 3mm, which means this is a shoe for well-maintained trails and gravel, not a mud plugger. But on the terrain it's built for, the measured data says something uncomfortable for a lot of brand loyalists. The best performing trail shoe in the world right now is the one nobody's making videos about. Which brings me to the real reason you should stay for the next 4 shoes. Because here's the thing about everything you just watched. Every shoe in that top 7 has been covered by every gear channel on this platform. The rankings differ. The roster doesn't. If the countdown was all I gave you, I'd just be the 17th person reading you the same list. So now we flip it. 4 shoes almost nobody is auditing, where the receipts get genuinely weird. A brand that publishes its own failure data. A luxury shoe whose spec sheet doesn't survive a lab caliper. A specialist that's quietly the best in the world at exactly one thing. And a 1-year-old company with a suspiciously perfect review record. Hidden Gem 1. NNormal Tomir 2.0. Every shoe brand tells you their shoes are durable. Exactly one brand on Earth has published a formal study showing you when their shoes die. NNormal is Kilian Jornet's brand, the man who raced an entire season. Zagama, Hard Rock and UTMB wins included in one single pair. And they did something no other shoe company has done, published the industry's first public durability study on their own product, later expanded across more than 7,000 runners. The findings: average lifespan, 1,350 kilometers. A Kevlar family upper 4 times more abrasion resistant than polyester. A midsole twice as durable as standard EVA. Then they backed the data with infrastructure. A lifetime repair guarantee through a certified cobbler network, plus a Vibram resoling program. When the outsole dies, you replace the sole, not the shoe. No conglomerate on this list does anything close, and most won't even tell you their expected mileage because the honest number would embarrass them. The Tomir 2.0 itself earns the hype independently. One major comparative testing outlet rates its midsole among the most versatile they've run, and their lead tester's personal quiver is literally this shoe plus its sibling, the Kjerag. Real flaws on record. The midfoot lockdown lets your foot slide forward on steep descents, sizing runs large, and the toe protection is thin enough that you'll feel the rock you kick. But if this channel handed out an award for transparency, it wouldn't be close. Hidden Gem 2, Norda 002. A $295 trail shoe from a boutique Canadian brand made in Italy with an upper woven from Dyneema, a fiber 15 times stronger than steel by weight. Everything about that sentence should trigger this channel's luxury markup alarm, so I went looking for the gap between the price and the product. Here's what I found instead: the most rigorous comparative testing outlet in the space called the 002s. Custom Vibram compound their favorite rubber and tread design they've ever tested, with some of the best traction they've experienced on one of the most refined shoes in their entire lineup. The material story checks out top to bottom. Even the laces are engineered. But I did find one thing, and it's exactly the kind of thing this channel exists for. Norda advertises this shoe at a 4mm drop. Independent lab measurement using World Athletics standards clocked the actual drop at 7.3mm isn't a scandal. But it's a published spec that doesn't survive a caliper on a shoe whose entire value proposition is precision. If you're a low-drop purist buying this shoe for the geometry on the box, you're not getting it. Final math, and even the fans agree here. The performance tops the charts and so does the price. And it's genuinely hard to argue Dyneema earns its premium over the Kevlar blend uppers on shoes costing half as much. Verdict: a real shoe, honestly built, priced for people who've stopped asking what things cost. Hidden Gem 3. Craft Nordlite Ultra 2.0. This gem is the narrowest, and that's the point. This shoe picked one lane, gravel and hardpack, and won it outright. A major publication's best gravel shoe, with a supercritical midsole whose shock absorption and rebound testers compared to actual road shoes. If your trail diet is rail trails and fire roads, statistically most of you, a mud shoe's aggressive lugs are dead weight, and this is the better tool. 2 footnotes. The documented weakness is foothold. The upper doesn't lock the foot as well as it should, so technical descents aren't its home. And the sustainability claim, a foam made from reusable materials in a non-toxic process, is precisely the kind of marketing language that deserves verification against actual documentation rather than applause. That audit is coming in a future episode. Consider this the shot across the bow. Hidden Gem 4. Mount to Coast, T1. A company founded in April 2024 releases its first trail shoe ever, and within a year it's sitting at the top of a major publication's best trail shoes guide. That either means something remarkable or something worth squinting at. With this one, it's both. The shoe itself is legitimate. Vibram Mega Grip light base outsole, a Kevlar yarn reinforced upper in the same family as the Matrix material on shoes costing more. A midsole insert derived from race car suspension engineering, built to resist the sag that kills most foams. 9.2 ounces. Testers across multiple independent outlets land on the same conclusions. Standout traction on steep technical ground, durable construction, no break-in. The recurring flaw is also consistent everywhere. The dual quick lay system is finicky, hard to lock down on technical terrain and can create pressure points across the foot. Now, the squint. Even reviewers who love this brand have noted, in print, its relentless influencer partnerships since launch, and a noticeable share of the glowing coverage carries affiliate discount codes. No independent lab has torn the T1 down yet. The read, promising shoe, unaudited hype machine. I'm excited about this company, and I'm telling you to notice who's getting paid. Both are true. And that tension is the entire reason this channel exists. 11 shoes, everyone backed by a source in the description. Not one of them paid to be here. Here's what goes in the comments, and I actually read them. The drop discrepancy on the Norda, deal breaker on a $2.95 shoe or rounding error. And NNormal published the date their own shoes die. Name one other brand you believe would survive doing that. But none of these 11 shoes matter if you're pairing them with socks and gaiters that undo everything the outsole is doing for you. Wrong sock. And that Vibram beating traction number means nothing the second your foot's sliding around inside the shoe. That's the next teardown. The sock and gaiter brands whose moisture-wicking claims don't survive a lab test either, and which pairings the shoes on this list were actually designed around.